No.
She was physical with me, and I realized that she hadn't changed since I was a kid.
Okay, we're in a major conflict here, and to use your words, you have fled the state to protect your daughter, correct? What has triggered this?
Honestly, that's what we're here to find out. We have no idea. The whole situation is insane. It's just...
She contacted the Native American tribe to do home visits, stating that there was neglect, malnourishment, utilities being turned off. Those were the main three that she had told them. She contacted the state as well. They came in, they closed their cases out. They came to my house, they investigated, and they closed the case out. That's when she filed, when she found out that they kept closing the case because there's nothing wrong. So she filed for an attorney through the Native American tribe.
Well, you said that there was a fight, an argument that took place, and did this get physical?
Yes, it was a physical dispute.
And how did it get physical?
Yeah, my mother gets to my house, she's alone. Well, we start arguing. I said that something to the effect of, I think you're just mad and doing this and saying these things because we are better parents than you have ever been to me.
I was inside the house, witnessing. And
that's when she slapped me. She open palmed, got me. And then I turned to her. I said, you hit me harder when I was a little kid.
It broke loose.
That's when she started punching me and slapping me, and my arms were behind my back the entire time. I will never, ever lay my hands on a female, ever. Allie starts walking down to see all the noise that was going on. She hops in her truck and leaves. And next thing I know, the cops show up. And he asks what's going on. I say, nothing, we're fine here, because I grew up seeing my mother go to jail for domestic abuse and all these things. I don't want to see her go to jail. So I say, nothing, it's fine here. And then that was
called the police?
My mother.
Your mother attacks you in the yard, throws you to the ground, hits you, and then calls the police?
Yes, sir.
What, to turn herself in?
To come check the house because the baby wasn't there.
Okay, but you sent an email, and in your email you said, my daughter cannot go with this evil woman.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you believe that she is not safe with your mother because of the way your mother raised you.
Yes, sir.
She was violent with you. You saw her violent with other people.
Yes, sir.
Did she go to jail for domestic violence when you were growing up?
Yes, sir. I've seen the police come and haul her off. My mother is two-faced.
One day she likes me, and the next day she hates me.
She's delusional.
I do need the Amber Alert taken down so I can enroll my child in school. This is gonna get ridiculous. There's something off. She's crazy. She's manipulative.
My mother can put on a show, and she does. We're not running anywhere. That's why we're here today. You are crazy, and we're here to prove it.
Waco and Allie are the parents of a 3-year-old little girl, a girl whose face is plastered on posters for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Well, why? Well, they claim Waco's parents are trying to use tribal court to gain custody of their little girl based on lies. So the young couple took off with their daughter, telling no one where they are living. Now, Waco, his mother Stacy, and his child are all registered members of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Now, Stacy and her husband Jacob admit they went to tribal court because they believe their granddaughter is in danger. Take a look.
Waco and Allie are fugitives.
I would consider it 2 fugitives with a 3-year-old. That's pretty serious in my opinion.
I realized that my granddaughter was missing when they didn't show up for court.
Not knowing is the only hard thing. Where she's at, what she's doing, who she's with.
I filed a missing persons report to help find my granddaughter.
I've been concerned about my granddaughter since she's been a baby because parents don't ever live in the same place very long. They don't keep the same job very long.
I've been worried about them partying around my granddaughter. She has asthma. I am worried they are still smoking around her. I noticed a diaper rash so bad that it was red and bleeding.
When my granddaughter and Waco lived with us now, I would still find Waco in bed and my granddaughter would be up by herself trying to get something to eat.
Waco needs to just grow up and just be responsible for his actions. My granddaughter deserves better than what they are giving her right now. I am more capable of caring for her than they are. I hope that I find my granddaughter so she can come home to myself and Jacob and the rest of the family that misses her.
Well, Stacy and Jacob are being joined by their attorney. And will you pronounce your last name so I don't get it wrong?
It's Lori Guevara.
I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
What was the trigger that made you think that this was a serious enough situation that you felt like you needed to go to court?
Because I was worried about her wellness, her being able to go to the doctor. I was worried about her being fed. I was worried about her taking baths.
So you observed her being malnourished?
Yes.
So you saw the child on an ongoing basis being medically underfed?
Yes.
Really? And was that documented with the pediatrician?
No.
And you said her cleanliness, her hygiene was not up to par in terms of taking baths and things of that nature. So did you observe on a day-to-day basis that she was unhygienic in terms of having rashes or just
Yes.
simply being unclean?
Yes.
So I assume you would bathe her when you saw
Oh,
that.
yes. Every time I'd get her, I would bathe her the first thing I'd do.
Yeah, and did you, was that documented with a pediatrician or?
Oh, no.
Or someone that could verify that this was a unclean child?
No, just the family knew.
And you're saying she was not getting the proper medical and dental care that a 1, 2, 3-year-old should be getting?
When we had her, she did. We've caught her up on the shots.
The pediatric records will show providing these immunizations or these exams way behind schedule because the child has not been brought in a timely fashion.
Yes.
Okay, so that'll all be documented.
It should be documented with the doctor that we took her to.
And what do y'all say about this?
We have documentation from the Creek Nation Wake Department when malnourishment and neglect was brought up in the court system. When they weighed her, they checked her, they do all that, make sure she's healthy.
And was she?
She's above average. She's on, I think they said she was at the 98th percentile.
I don't think Waco and Allie's relationship will last.
I'm always jealous. Allie and I are so close.
He believes that the only person he could talk to is Allie.
My mother didn't seem to have a problem with Allie until she became pregnant with my child.
She thinks I took Waco away from her. Stacy trying to gain custody is revenge.
Well, Waco and Allie are in the midst of a tense custody battle, not with each other, but with Waco's parents over their 3-year-old little girl. Now, the young parents went on the run with their own child in order to keep her away from her grandparents, who plastered missing posters all over the country in search of the toddler. Now, did you really think the child was missing, or did you know the child was with the parents?
They didn't show up for court, so I didn't know where she was.
Did you really think she had been kidnapped, or did you think she was with her mom and dad?
I believe she was with her parents.
I believe that she's been neglected, abandoned, and not ever mistreated, but she's been neglected and abandoned 3 times, twice by Waco and Allie and once by Allie. When you're supposed to take someone back to the house and they don't answer the phone, they don't answer Facebook for 24 hours, and we have things to do the next day, and they don't answer.
She dropped her phone in the tub and it broke.
My phone broke.
Do you believe that it is good public policy for children to be with their parents?
Do I, as long as they're taking care of the baby, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
but just generally speaking,
Yes.
unless something intervenes that says, whoa, they're way off the mark, so somebody needs to step in their shoes and do it for them.
Yes.
And you think, the two of you think, that conditions, circumstances here have become so extreme that you've had to go to the court and say they are not fit to raise this child. We need to step into their shoes and raise this child on their behalf.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going on exactly, but at this point, I do not trust the grandparents. I believe the parents when they say that the grandmother is crazy. Perhaps she's not, and the parents are lying pathologically or something, but I don't know. I mean, the son claims that he was abused by his mom his whole life. I don't think he's just making that up. And it's odd that they would assume that the little girl has been kidnapped when obviously if they don't hear from them, then the girl is with her own parents. But I don't know. Let's see how this continues.
If you were not fit parents, Waco questions whether you would even almost be an alternative for doing so based on the manner in which you parented him.
I'm not saying I was a good parent. I mean, Not everyone is a good, have lessons to learn, and
Were you physically abusive with him as he was growing up?
no,
Were you mentally and emotionally abusive for him when he was growing up?
no.
Did you provide a stable home for him when he was growing up?
He always had electric, he always had clothes, he always had a roof over his head, he always had water to take baths. Yes,
Did he run away when he was growing up?
yes.
Did he run away to escape beatings when he was growing up?
I would just believe that because of how Waco is, he felt like he needed to run away because he didn't want to be, he doesn't like authority, things like that.
But you deny that there was domestic violence in the home when he was growing up?
I did not abuse Waco.
Was there domestic violence in the home?
No,
Were you arrested for domestic violence while he was in the home?
no.
Were the cops called to the home when you were raising him?
Cops had to come to the home, yes.
Was it a volatile home? Was it chaotic and volatile emotionally?
No. We've had some problems, but what family doesn't have problems?
And you tell a very different story.
I tell them the truth.
And were you abused when you were growing up?
Yes, sir. Physically and emotionally, mentally.
By your mother?
By my mother. I went to the police station with marks and stuff on me, and they just sent me right back.
And who put those marks on you?
My mother, that lady right there.
Okay, well now, somebody's not telling the truth.
I've never heard him say his mother's physically abused him until here recently.
You were involved later on, and when these two had a relationship, you said you had a problem with it because you objected to the age difference between the two of them.
Yes, have you asked them how old they were when they got together?
Yeah, and how old were you when you got together?
How old are you?
You
I was a freshman in high school. I was 14. We're still together.
You had a 4-year age difference?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
A 4-year age difference?
And we've been together.
13 and 18 and 5-year age difference. You can do the math.
Yeah, it was 4 years. and some
21.
change. And you two have how big of an age difference?
8.
They're both adults.
They're both adults.
But so were we.
No, I'm just curious, but y'all have a 9-year age difference.
8, sir.
And y'all have a
4
4 and change.
I just
and
turned
y'all have
21.
8 and
He's
change.
25.
And
You're 21 and 25, and y'all are 34 and 45.
42.
I've tried to figure this out, and I've tried to put together a flow of events here. In August 14, you went to rehab for 10 days, right, Waco?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For alcoholism.
For alcoholism.
Yes.
Okay. And then as we move along, in January of this year, this is when you and Stacy fight, and you stop contact between your child and Stacy, correct?
Yes, sir.
Why? You thought it was just not safe,
She
unstable?
was physical with me, and I realized that she hadn't changed since I was a kid. And I thought she had changed. That's why I let her see her originally, but she hasn't changed.
Okay, and did you attack him in the front yard?
No. Everything he told you was false.
You did slap him, right?
Yes?
Okay. So May 7th, then,
I didn't file a police report because I saw my mother going to jail when I was a child.
child goes to Stacy's party, and were you glad to see her?
Oh, yes.
So you did get to see her then, all right?
It was the best birthday present I could have.
Right. Okay. So then on June 5th, there is a tribal court hearing where you file for visitation, Stacy and Jacob, and Waco and Allie are drug tested. They test positive for marijuana and are ordered to return to the tribal court on the 10th of July. On July 10th, the court convened. You weren't there, and the tribal court awards full guardianship of the child to Stacy and Jacob. Do you understand what that means?
My mother and Jacob are technically her parents now, I guess. Have custody.
Your mother has gone to court and gotten a default judgment against you and gotten custody of your child. Here's what the documents say. Petitioners, Stacy and Jacob, that's their typo, not ours, are appointed the general co-guardian of the persons and estate of child, the name is blanked out, born January 25th, 2012. So they now have custody of your child. You don't.
And the answer, Dr. Phil, is for the parents, the natural parents, to show back up in tribal court where the jurisdiction is proper and tell the judge your side of the story and not to run away.
The answer is you are bullies.
I'm not a Native American.
And you're grinning ear to ear, and you have opened a can of worms you are going to wish you never opened, my friend. So you grin ear to ear, you grin ear to ear, and you get real proud of yourself because you ain't going to believe what happens next. You have just bullied your son, gone into court, and ripped the child away from him. And you've done it because these young kids are not smart enough to know that you don't defy the robes. You don't defy the bench. So they didn't show up. So, of course, the judge, the only thing they can do, they give a default judgment. And that default judgment will be flipped because I'll guarantee you there's going to be an investigation. And there is not a court in this land that is going to turn a child over to an uninvestigated guardian, and shame on you for pulling that trigger. And you know it.
No,
You said, why didn't you take it to a regular court? A regular court would do the same thing because you didn't show up. They are going to give a default judgment to the petitioners. The facts are on your side. Public policy is on your side. There is absolutely not one cause of sustainable action for them to take your child away from you other than the fact that you chose not to show up.
Trust me, fleeing a state is the least I will do for my child. That is the absolute least I will do to keep my baby safe.
Well, that's all very macho, but what you really want is the best result, you need to use the system, not fight the system.
Okay, so this is starting to make a little bit more sense why they don't have custody of their child. So they just chose not to show up to court. I like how Dr. Phil says that they are young and they just weren't smart enough to understand how the system works, and so they made a dumb decision. And this is the end result. So it's not that the grandparents are more fit than they are. It's not that they themselves are unfit. It's just that the grandparents bullied them into court and they chose not to show up. I'm just glad that Dr. Phil called out Stacy and Jacob for being bullies and called out their attorney because she has it coming too.
Happy about all this?
No.
I mean, it's what you wanted, right?
I want my grandchild to be safe and not moving here and there and not going to sleep at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and sleeping all day and not having to go to the refrigerator and get her own food because no one's awake to feed her.
Let's take a video look at this child and see how endangered she appears. I'm looking at the child's muscle mass. I'm looking at her emotions. I'm looking at how she interacts with the world. I'm looking at a lot of non-verbals here. I'm looking at her trust and going down the slide. I'm looking at her self-esteem and confidence in climbing a ladder. I'm looking at the micro expressions on her face. I'm looking at a whole lot of things that being trained in forensic psychology speak volumes to me. And I see, to me, a very vibrant, enthusiastic child. And, part of that may very well be a function of what you've contributed to this situation as well. It takes a village.
Yes, sir.
The story goes a lot better when you're the only one telling it, and a boxing match goes really well if you're the only one throwing punches. But when they start hitting back, it's not so much fun anymore.
We want them to come back to court
They
and
start
say their
digging
side.
in. They start digging into your background. They start digging into your background, and all of this starts getting extruded before experts and into the public record. And all of a sudden, it's just not so much fun. So you can smear them, and they can smear you, and then the child can wind up in foster care. And Robin and I are national spokespersons for CASA. We work in the foster system every day, and believe me, it's broken. And then you're going to wish to hell you had decided that maybe you ought to work this out without a third-party involvement. But that's not what you did.
How can you work something out when you don't have a phone and you're not allowed, and they said they're not allowed to be at their house? How are you going to work that out with them?
Well, you don't do it by hauling them down to the courthouse. You don't do it by... You don't do it by threats and ultimatum. And Jacob, listen, there's two sides here.
Yeah, you haven't heard ours.
There's two sides. Listen, they've made mistakes here. They own this. They're young and brash and have made immature decisions. No question about it. This isn't all y'all's fault. There's fault here, too. Do these parents have the ability to challenge the jurisdiction of the Muskogee Creek Nation Tribal Court that has handed guardianship of their child to their grandparents? I have an expert here that can advise you much better than I can about what needs to take place from here going forward. We'll be right back. I've invited family law attorney, legal analyst, and child advocate Ariva Martin to weigh in. Ariva, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Dr. Phil.
Talk to us.
Yeah, you know, Dr. Phil, we've seen a lot of these cases, and you know, when Indian children are involved, these cases are so complex. They can end up in tribal court, a state court, federal court. They can take years of litigation and even end up in the United States Supreme Court. You, Allie, and Waco have to get a lawyer. You can't do this on your own. This is a very complex area of the law. If you're telling us the truth, that Child Protective Services went out and closed their case because there wasn't neglect and abuse, I just don't see, Dr. Phil, a reason for these young adults to have their parental rights terminated. And absolutely, it's not clear that the grandparents would become the guardians or in any way responsible for this child. But you can't run. You can't run. You've got to go to court and face this. You've got to get an attorney, and that attorney will advise you about how to undo this mess. But one thing these grandparents can do, they can agree to terminate that guardianship. So you have an opportunity to make this right. You don't have to leave here today and continue to fight your kids in court. Just because that order is there doesn't mean that you can't do something proactive to reverse this and to let them have custody of their children, which at this point, it appears they deserve.
We want her to be
I want you to be a part of her life.
to be in her life.
You're
We
saying that
know
on TV.
you both love her. We said it off the stage too.
Not
Okay?
me.
No, not to you. I haven't seen you. I haven't talked to you.
Well, you know my number.
You know what? Why would I get
What the hell have you got to do with this?
They have problems.
You're married to her. You're not his father.
No, never claimed to be.
You're not his father. You're just married to his mother, and not for very long. How long y'all been married?
Since December.
Since December.
We've been together 6 years.
Well, what you need to do is support her.
That's what I'm
That's
doing,
what
sir.
he's
You
doing.
don't lecture them. That's not your role. That's not your role. You get down to your lane. You said something that I thought was interesting on page 47 of your pre-interview. I wrote it down. You said, and I quote, "I do not want to take the child away from her parents. I just want to be a grandmother that enjoys her and spoils her." That's a direct quote from you.
That's all I wanted to be, is a grandmother. To spoil the grandchild.
But yet you've taken a very different tact. You either want one or you want the other.
I was granted one. I just wanted visitation.
Well,
I was awarded the other.
we need to, well, it's up to you. It's not up to the court. We'll be right back. You're playing a very high stakes game here. And when I read what you say, I just want to be able to spoil my granddaughter. And you've got unfinished emotional business with your son here. He has one set of recollections about his experience as a child growing up. You have a different set of recollections of a mother raising him. And that's unfinished emotional business here. And it seems to me that that needs to be resolved. And it seems to me if the two of you would resolve those issues, that he would have a very different attitude and support his wife having a very different attitude of your involvement. But you don't do that by dragging him into court and saying, I'm taking your kids away. What he says to himself in his mind is the abuse continues on my ass again. That's what he says to himself. But my recommendation is you non-suit all of this, drop these proceedings, and the two of you let me arrange some professional help for you to resolve these differences and come up with a plan where this family can have some unity instead of turning it over to somebody here. Would you work at that?
Of course, yes.
Would you work at that?
Yes.
So,